Hi, and thanks for logging on to the Daily DVAR Halacha, and here's a brand new halacha for you, and it's for Sunday the 29th day of June. Please, first of all, remember that it's Rosh Chodesh. It's the first day of Tammuz, and make sure to have all your Rosh Chodesh additions said in your davening. Now today's halacha. What if you order some food from a restaurant and you have it delivered and it's kosher and everything's proper? The delivery person who brought it to your home, you find out, is not a Jewish person. So you're wondering if there's any fear that you have to have that the food could have been tampered with by the non-Jew, or could you just be totally 100% sure that it's fine to eat the food? So these are the general rules that we use for these circumstances. A lot of times a pizza shop sending you a delivery of their pizza to your home are not going to have it all taped up with their kosher tape signifying that it's been 100% sealed. It just doesn't happen. So what should be our general rules? The answer is this. In halacha, we are not worried that the non-Jewish delivery person would tamper with your food if he doesn't have a large motive to want to do that. So, let me explain. Let's say he's delivering pizza to you, and he might think to himself, you ordered a pie, right? He sees a pie in there, and he might think to himself, well, I want that pizza. Let me eat that pizza, and let me replace it with Domino's pizza. Uh, you see, the delivery guy would not have a lot of motivation to do that because there's not a giant difference in price between what he just, there's some difference, but not enough that he would say, I have to have this kosher pizza, and I'm just going to replace it with Domino's. So it's just not a thing that you have to worry about that he took out your pie and put in a Domino's pizza, because he's risking losing his job. And he's not really gaining a whole lot by doing this. And therefore, I'm not just saying this from my own personal rationale. This is what it says in halacha. If there's no large motivation for the non-Jew to want to make a switch in your food, then you do not have to worry about it. The only time that you would have to worry about it would be if it was a very valuable food item, like, let's say, a really good steak. And it's possible, just a remote possibility, that the non-Jewish delivery person would see that delicious kosher steak and say, I want it, and he would just eat it, and he would replace it with a very cheap cut of, I don't know, some non-kosher steak that he placed in there. That is the only time that you would have to worry about it, where it was a very valuable piece of something that he's delivering to you, and he might have had a motivation to eat it and replace it with something way cheaper. But that fear you don't have to worry about too much either, because the halacha is clear that if you know a very clear expectation of what the food's supposed to look like, especially if you've ordered this before and you know what that steak sub looks like from that restaurant, you've had it before. And so when it arrives, if it was a replacement, you'd know it in an instant. Then that halacha also says very clearly, causes you to not have to worry that there was a switch. So in short, it's not as complicated as it sounds. The only time you'd ever have to worry about a non-Jewish delivery person delivering a food to you would be if two bad mitigating factors happened, and they were A, it was a very valuable item, the type of thing that he would want to take and replace, and B, it would also have to be a situation where you have no idea what to expect the food will look like. Then the switcheroony could have happened and you could have been fooled. But if those things didn't happen, you know what the food's supposed to look like, and he doesn't have a whole lot of motivation to make the switch, then you have nothing to worry about. So in summary, it's not often much of a worry that the delivery person is making a switch on you, and most often, not always, but most often you could rely on the fact that it is the exact food that the kosher restaurant sent you, and therefore tape around the item is not always 100% necessary. If it's very expensive and it's stuff that you don't recognize, that's the only time that you have to worry. Thanks for logging on. I hope I didn't make that too complicated, and have a good Chodesh, and log on again tomorrow for more. Bye-bye.